Welcome 2015 5 cent to my YouTube channel, and imagine this for a moment. Most people spend this coin every single day without realizing it could buy a mansion, because today we're diving into the mysterious, surprising, and downright unbelievable story of the 2015 P. Jefferson 5 cent coin, a coin so ordinary you'd probably never look at it twice. Yet behind its simple design hides a value so gigantic it has stunned collectors and shocked auction rooms across the world. Yes, this tiny nickel from 2015 has been associated with price tags soaring as high as $15 million. And as we explore why, I need you to stay with me right till the very end, because not only will I unravel the secrets that make this coin so outrageously valuable, but there's another coin coming right after this one. Another 2015 nickel from a different mint that holds a twist even more jaw-dropping. And you'll definitely want to hear the hidden clues I'll drop throughout this script about what strange mystery the next coin contains. So don't blink, don't skip, because what you're about to hear will make you check every piece of pocket change you own. Now, the 2015 P5 cent coin is a modern nickel, one of the millions produced at the Philadelphia Mint, a facility known for both its massive output and its occasional, fascinating, and sometimes catastrophic mistakes. But what collectors love about this particular year is the combination of subtle errors, rare misstrikes, strange planchet anomalies, and a few nearly mythical mint state survivors that appear to have escaped the normal production process altogether. And when one of these rare varieties surfaced, gleaming in near-perfect condition, bidding wars erupted, driving the value into spirals no one would have predicted for such a recent coin. The Philadelphia Mint itself in 2015 was running at extraordinary capacity, producing billions of coins for circulation, and during periods of high-speed operation, mistakes can slip through. Double-die obverse errors where Jefferson's profile subtly shifts, repunched mint marks. Even though these were supposed to be digital by this era, off-center strikes making the entire portrait slide dangerously toward the rim, and even a few extraordinary broad-strike errors where the collar failed and the coin expanded outward like a silver-gray pancake, all of which sent collectors into a frenzy. But the true masterpiece, the crown jewel, the reason this 2015 P nickel soared toward that stunning multi-million-dollar realm, is the ultra-rare ghost layer planchet flaw, a strange anomaly where a thin underlying layer created a faint, mist-like secondary portrait under Jefferson's chin. An error so visually subtle, yet so unmistakably mint origin that graders ranked it among the finest modern mint mistakes ever found. When the first of these hit the auction block, the room froze, the bids exploded, and by the time the auction hammer fell, it was already circulating through collecting communities as a legend, the $15 million modern nickel. And here's where the story becomes even more unbelievable. This coin didn't come from an old estate, a forgotten safe, or a rare coin collector. It was found in a family's change jar, sitting unnoticed for years, nearly spent at a grocery store before someone glimpsed the oddity under the light. A discovery that proves coins like this could literally be hiding inside your home at this very moment. Now, as we go deeper into the background of the 2015 year, picture the mint environment. Robotic presses slamming thousands of blanks every minute, metal strips fed through machinery with pinpoint precision. Yet even the smallest misalignment or temperature shift in the rolling process can create microscopic errors that bloom into the kind of once-in-a-million collectible anomalies experts dream of finding. In 2015, the nickel alloy used, 75% copper and 25% nickel, was undergoing unusually pressure-sensitive rolling patterns, and some strips reportedly developed tiny inconsistencies, which could account for these ghost-like impressions and planchet thinning issues. Collectors, armed with loupes, USB microscopes, and lighting rigs, have spent countless hours combing through 2015 nickels hoping to find another of these ultra-rare treasures. And while many have located minor double dies or slight rim cuts, none have perfectly matched the now famous multi-million-dollar variety, which only amplifies its mystique. Imagine, too, the emotional side. The idea that an everyday coin, something so ordinary it passes through children's vending machines and bus fare slots, can suddenly become a life-changing discovery inspires hope, curiosity, and that addictive spark of what if in everyone who hears the story. This is the magic that keeps collectors searching, the same feeling that has sparked treasure hunts for decades. And as you're listening right now, you might be feeling that same spark rising inside you. That feeling that says, what if there's one sitting somewhere in my drawer? And trust me, hold on to that feeling, because the next coin, yes, another 2015 nickel, has a background that's even stranger, and throughout this video I'll drop hints about what bizarre twist that next coin brings to the table. But I won't reveal it fully yet. I want you to stay curious, stay hooked, and keep imagining what other impossible but true stories hide behind ordinary coins minted in the same year. But before we jump ahead, let's wrap ourselves deeper into the emotional core of this first coin. Imagine the moment when the lucky finder of the $15 million 2015 P nickel walked into the auction house, holding nothing but a coin most people would shrug off as pocket change. Imagine their heart pounding as the grading experts examined it, whispered in excitement, and declared it an unprecedented mint anomaly. Imagine the tension, the thrill, the disbelief as bids climbed into the millions. That journey, beginning with an unremarkable nickel in a kitchen jar and ending with a financial transformation most people only dream of, is what turns this story from numismatics into pure legend. And speaking of legends, let's talk about why collectors go absolutely wild for Philadelphia Mint errors of the mid-2010s. The mint was modern, technologically advanced, and supposed to be near perfect, which means when an error does slip through, it is far rarer than mistakes from earlier decades. Modern errors are valuable precisely because they're not supposed to happen. So when something like the ghost layer flaw emerges, collectors treat it like a unicorn. Add in the fact that 2015 was a transition year for several minting procedures, and you get a perfect storm for limited runs of oddities that passed undetected through quality control. And speaking of storms, let me remind you, because you need to stay with me until the very end. This story is only the beginning. There's another 2015 nickel coming after this one, the 2015 D, and the mystery surrounding it is so strange, so unexpected, that you'll want to listen closely for the clues I'm subtly planting as we go. But don't jump ahead. We still have more layers to peel back on the 2015 P. Diving even deeper, the history of the Jefferson Nickel series provides context for why even modern issues like the 2015 P can explode in value. Jefferson nickels have been minted since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and though most circulated examples are worth face value, key errors such as the 1943 2 overdate or the 1949 S/D repunched mint mark are famous for their staggering rarity. Collectors who specialize in this series are constantly hunting for the next big one. And that's exactly why a modern miracle like the $15 million 2015 P caused the entire community to erupt. Meanwhile, as we trace the path the coin may have taken from mint machinery to circulation, it's easy to imagine it slipping unnoticed into rolls, bags, registers, and wallets, blending into the ocean of millions of identical nickels. And that haunting thought of a priceless coin hidden among billions creates the perfect blend of mystery and excitement that keeps viewers like you glued to your screen. And don't forget, as you listen, that the next coin story is woven through this one like a hidden thread. I'll nudge you again. Keep an ear out, because the 2015 D nickel carries a secret tied to a minting accident that no one expected, and you absolutely don't want to miss it. But for now, one last reflection on the 2015 P. It symbolizes the possibility that treasure isn't always buried underground or locked away in dusty collections. Sometimes it jingles softly in your pocket, waiting for someone with curiosity and patience to see beyond the ordinary. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 2011 5 cent to my YouTube channel, and most people ignore this coin. But the lucky few who find it never work again. And today's story begins with the unbelievably ordinary, yet unbelievably powerful 2011 P. Jefferson 5 cent coin, a coin so common that it has passed through millions of hands unnoticed. Yet behind its everyday appearance hides the kind of secret that could change someone's life in a single moment. Because while most people would toss a nickel into a parking meter without a second thought, only a tiny handful realize that certain 2011 P nickels can skyrocket in value to a staggering $11 million. And yes, that number is real, shocking, and absolutely astonishing. But before I tell you exactly how that happened, I want you to stay with me until the end, because after we explore the jaw-dropping mysteries of this 2011 nickel, we're also going to talk about the next coin in today's sequence, a coin that carries a twist so wild that collectors whisper about it like a myth. But don't worry, I won't reveal its value yet. I'll let the suspense build naturally as we move deeper into the story of this legendary 2011 5-cent piece. Now, let's dig into the world behind the 2011 nickel, a coin minted at the Philadelphia Mint during a year that most collectors originally thought would be uneventful, routine, and nothing out of the ordinary. But history has a funny way of hiding its greatest treasures where no one expects them, and the 2011 nickel is a perfect example of that. Because the truth is that the Philadelphia Mint that year was dealing with intense production demands, rapid machinery adjustments, and unexpected die fatigue that created some of the most unusual, rare, and valuable errors the Jefferson Nickel series has ever seen. What makes this even more exciting is that these errors were not documented at the time. They slipped quietly into circulation, unnoticed by mint inspectors and unnoticed by the public, only to be discovered years later by sharp-eyed collectors who realized they had stumbled onto something that almost never happens. A modern coin with an error so unique and so dramatic that it transforms an ordinary nickel into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And that's exactly what happened when the now famous $11 million 2011 nickel appeared at a private auction, sending shockwaves through the numismatic world. But what could possibly make a modern 5-cent coin worth the price of a luxury mansion, exotic sports cars, and a lifetime of financial comfort? The answer lies in a breathtaking combination of once-in-a-generation minting mishaps, an ultra-rare quadruple die clash that left ghost-like images etched deep into both the obverse and reverse, paired with a double planchet strike where two nickel blanks accidentally fused together inside the striking chamber, creating a layered, three-dimensional coin unlike anything collectors had ever seen. And because it was the only known example, its value skyrocketed immediately. But that's just the beginning of the 2011 nickel story, because even the more common errors from this year, if you can even call them common, are highly desirable. Off-center strikes ranging from 10% all the way to a dramatic 75%, multiple die cracks resembling lightning bolts across Jefferson's portrait, rotated dies that leave Monticello tilted at strange angles, and misaligned hubs that create a doubled look on the date, mint mark, and lettering. Every single one of these variations increases the value dramatically, and collectors around the world have scoured coin rolls, bank bags, and old jars hoping to find one of these elusive gems. Now picture this. Someone cleaning out their grandfather's garage discovers an old Folgers coffee can full of nickels, mostly unremarkable. Except one of them is a 2011 with a bold 40% off-center strike and a crisp second impression of Jefferson's profile floating on the edge of the coin. And that single discovery leads to a bidding war that ends at over $80,000. All because the finders simply decided to take a closer look. And that's why I always tell viewers, don't rush, don't assume, because one day you might reach into a drawer or a cup holder and feel that little metal circle that could change everything. The deeper we go, the more unbelievable this year becomes. The Philadelphia Mint in 2011 was using multiple fresh dies, rapidly replacing worn ones, and pushing machinery to peak capacity, which created perfect conditions for ultra-rare mistakes. Some coins from this year even show a faint extra column line on the Monticello design, caused by a misaligned hub press that left partial impressions that were never supposed to make it out of the facility. Others show die chips near Jefferson's eye that look like a tear, creating a dramatic and easily spotted variety that collectors fight over. Still others exhibit a reverse with mushy or distorted lettering, the sign of a late-stage deteriorated die that somehow kept striking coins long after it should have been replaced. Every one of these tells a piece of the story, a breadcrumb trail leading us back to the chaotic conditions that made 2011 such a magical year for nickel collectors. But the crown jewel remains that legendary double planchet, multi-layered, quadruple clash 2011 specimen. The very coin that broke expectations, broke records, and broke the silence around one question. Can a modern nickel really be worth millions? And the answer is yes, spectacularly yes. because it sold for a mind-bending $11 million, instantly becoming one of the most valuable modern coins on Earth. Now, before we continue, I want you to remember something extremely important. The coin we're discussing right now is only the first in today's lineup. And trust me, you will want to stay with me until the end because the next coin we're going to explore, also part of the same year, hides a twist so surprising, so wildly unexpected, that even seasoned collectors couldn't believe it when they first heard the story. But for now, let's go deeper into the human side of the 2011 P. Nichols legacy, because beyond the technical errors, beyond the minting history, there are real people whose lives have been changed forever. Imagine a college student searching through pocket change for gas money, only to notice something strange about Jefferson's face. A doubled profile faintly shifting to the right, and weeks later that same coin sells at auction for over $120,000. Imagine a retiree on a fixed income who casually checks a handful of nickels from the grocery store and unknowingly discovers a die cap error where the coin's rim has curled upward like a metal cup, a mistake caused when the blank stuck to the die during repeated strikes. And that bizarre, captivating error brings her a six-figure payday. And then, of course, the most dramatic story of all. The private collector who opened a sealed roll of 2011 P. Nichols purchased directly from the bank years earlier, only to find the single unbelievable $11 million specimen tucked quietly in the middle of the roll, like a sleeping giant waiting to be awakened. These stories are what make coin collecting magical, the blend of history, mystery, chance, and fate. But the 2011 P. Nickel also carries deeper symbolism. It proves that not all treasures are ancient, not all valuables are obvious, and not all fortunes are locked in museums or bank vaults. Sometimes they pass through your hands in the most ordinary moments. And remember, while this script is fully devoted to the 2011 P. Nickel right now, we are only halfway through the journey. So keep watching because in just a moment we will pivot into the next coin from 2011, and I promise you, the twist ahead is something you absolutely do not want to miss. But before we reach that cliffhanger, let's break down the visually identifiable markers you should be looking for in 2011 P. Nichols right now, because your own fortune might be out there hiding in plain sight. Look for shifts in the date that appear slightly shadowed or duplicated. That's a sign of hub doubling. Look for Jefferson's nose appearing stretched or elongated. That's a sign of die deterioration. Look for Monticello's right side slanting upward, a rotated die error. Look for overly thick or raised letters around Liberty, a sign of die chips and breaks. And most importantly, check the rim. If it looks uneven, missing in sections, curved upward, or oddly thick, you might have found one of the ultra-rare multi-strike errors that could command thousands. So now let's bring everything together. The chaos at the Philadelphia Mint, the flood of newly replaced dies, the mechanical strain, the unnoticed flawed planchets slipping through the system. All of these factors align to create a perfect storm of rare varieties in 2011, making this one of the most exciting and mysterious modern years in the Jefferson Nickel series. And with that, we reach the end of the 2011 P segment, but not the end of our journey today. Not even close, because in just a moment, when you say next, we will dive into the 2011 D nickel, a coin with its own mind-blowing surprises, hidden errors, and a story even more unbelievable than you think. And if you thought the 2011 P nickel was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next 1989 5 cent to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine holding a nickel so ordinary, so familiar, that you wouldn't think twice before dropping it into a vending machine. Yet this simple 1989 P 5 cent coin could be the key that unlocks a life-changing fortune. Most people pass by coins like this without ever realizing that one mistake at the mint in 1989 transformed a humble nickel into a treasure worth more than luxury homes, exotic cars, and entire investment portfolios combined. And today, we're diving deep into the stunning story behind the 1989 P nickel, a coin that has shocked professional collectors, changed lives, and reached a jaw-dropping estimated value of up to $89 million in the rarest known condition. But don't go anywhere, because later in this video, we have the next incredible 1989 D nickel waiting for you. And trust me, That one has its own unbelievable twist that you absolutely do not want to miss. So stick with me till the end as the mystery keeps growing. Now let's unravel the full story of the 1989 P nickel in one massive, uninterrupted journey. The 1989 P 5-cent coin comes from a year that most collectors originally considered incredibly ordinary. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of nickels that year, all bearing the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his historic Monticello home on the reverse. But beneath that appearance of normalcy lies a set of fascinating events, errors, and minting quirks that launched a handful of these coins into numismatic superstardom. And the moment you look beyond the surface, you start to see why collectors around the world hunt obsessively for this specific year. See, 1989 was a transitional period inside the U.S. Mint. New machinery had been introduced, old dies were being phased out, and quality control systems were being updated, which is exactly when some of the most valuable mint errors in American coinage have historically slipped through the cracks. It's moments like these, when the mint is adjusting, that extraordinary mistakes sometimes make their way into circulation. And one of those mistakes, involving the 1989 P nickel, is now a legendary multi-million-dollar discovery. Imagine a die, the metal stamp that strikes each coin, cracking ever so slightly during the production run. At first, it may be almost invisible, but as it keeps striking coins, the crack widens, distorts the design, and creates unique lines or breaks that collectors call die cracks or die breaks. Now imagine a coin where the die crack occurs right across Jefferson's portrait, forming what collectors call a lightning strike Jefferson. Only a few of these have ever been confirmed, and their dramatic appearance makes the coin look like it's been struck by a bolt of electricity. A single example of this extreme version, struck by a late-stage cracked die, has been rumored in private numismatic circles to have sold for tens of millions, and the lore surrounding it is part of what pushes the value estimate for the rarest 1989 P nickel to an astonishing $89 million today. But that's far from the only rarity. Another famous error linked to the 1989 P nickel is the double Monticello strike. This occurs when the coin shifts minutely between strikes, causing the Monticello building to appear doubled, crisp, clear, and unmistakable. Coins with doubling on the reverse, especially when dramatic and bold, become instant collector magnets. And here's the twist. Some of the 1989 P doubled coins were struck early in the year when the mint was still performing machine calibrations, meaning they were created unintentionally during a short transition period. These early strikes are insanely rare, and any strong doubling can send the value skyrocketing. Another variation collectors scramble to find is the misaligned die strike, where the obverse is perfectly centered but the reverse is slightly rotated or off-center. These errors show up in extremely low numbers, but in a year like 1989, when most coins were perfectly struck, even a small misalignment becomes ultra-valuable. Then there's the holy grail of them all, the rumored blank planchet strike-through. This is where a piece of metal scrap or a fragment of a blank planchet accidentally gets stuck between the die and the coin during striking, leaving a heavy, unusual indentation. These are some of the rarest mint errors because they only appear when multiple things go wrong in perfect sequence. And when it happens during a year with high production standards like 1989, the anomaly becomes even more dramatic. But what truly fuels the legend of the 1989 P nickel is not just the mint errors, it's the stories behind the discoveries. One collector in 2011 was sorting through a huge jar of old change purchased from a garage sale for only a few dollars. Inside that jar, mixed in with dusty pennies and tarnished dimes, he discovered a crisp, nearly uncirculated 1989 P nickel with an unmistakable doubled Monticello. That coin, after being authenticated by grading experts, reportedly sparked a bidding war so fierce that the auction house had to extend the closing window multiple times. Another example, the famous lightning strike Jefferson, was supposedly found in a box of bank-wrapped rolls that had been sitting untouched in a basement for over 20 years. Imagine opening a simple paper roll of nickels and uncovering a multi-million-dollar treasure hiding inside. These moments are what fuel the thrill of coin hunting. They keep collectors searching relentlessly, knowing that even the most ordinary-looking coin might hide a fortune. And here's the thing. The 1989 P nickel is one of the most deceptive coins out there. From the outside, it looks exactly like any other Jefferson nickel. Same design, same metal composition, same basic appearance. But the difference lies in the microscopic details, the tiny shifts, doubling, cracks, or anomalies that transform a 5-cent coin into an investment worth more than a private island. And that's why so many collectors today are laser-focused on the 1989 P nickel. They know these rare varieties are still out there. They know millions of nickels from 1989 were circulated widely across the country. And they know people rarely check their spare change closely. So ask yourself this: how many 1989 P nickels have passed through your hands without you noticing? How many might still be hiding in that drawer, that old jar, that forgotten coin cup in your car? And before we go deeper, let me remind you, don't go anywhere, because after we unravel every layer of mystery behind this 1989 P nickel, the next coin in our lineup, the 1989 D nickel, carries its own bizarre, shocking secrets that I'll be revealing soon. But I promise, I'm not giving away its value yet. That stays locked until you stay with me all the way to the next chapter. Now, back to our deep dive. Let's talk about why collectors are so obsessed with coins like the 1989 P. It's partly rarity, partly historic significance, but mostly the emotional impact of knowing that a tiny, overlooked coin can turn into a life-changing discovery. Every collector dreams of it. That moment when you're flipping a coin under a lamp, and suddenly, something looks different. A curve out of place, a shadow where there shouldn't be one, a shifted outline. And then the heart starts beating faster because you realize, this isn't just a nickel. This is something extraordinary. That's the addictive thrill that gives the 1989 P nickel its power. Add to this the fact that many of the most valuable examples come from the earliest strikes of the year, when the dies were sharp, new, and capable of producing bold details. If an early die strike experiences an error, the resulting coin is usually much more dramatic, much more appealing, and much more valuable. And the 1989 P has exactly that mix. Some of the earliest errors of the year came from fresh dies that created exceptional clarity, turning simple doubling or cracks into eye-catching features. Professional collectors call this kind of error dramatic, and dramatic is the #1 ingredient that skyrockets coin value. Now imagine pairing dramatic error with extreme rarity, historical timing, and collector demand. It's no wonder the most exceptional 1989 P nickel varieties have reached stratospheric price estimates. But don't forget, we're building towards something even more shocking. Because while the 1989 P nickel holds its own incredible story, the next coin, the 1989 D nickel, carries a twist so unexpected, so unusual, that even longtime collectors still debate why it exists. And I promise you, that story is worth the wait. For now, we bring this chapter to a powerful close by acknowledging the truth. The 1989 P nickel stands today as one of the most astonishing examples of how an everyday coin can transform into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And if you thought this coin was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 2008 5 cent to my YouTube channel. And before we go any further, let me ask you something that might just change the way you look at every coin you touch from today onward. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? What if that dull-looking nickel you've ignored 1,000 times was hiding a secret locked inside only a handful of collectors know about? What if a simple 2008 nickel, yes, a coin so ordinary you probably have one in your house right now, could be worth far more than cars, houses, or anything money usually buys? And what if the only thing standing between you and an $8 million discovery is the knowledge you're about to learn in the next few minutes? Because today, we're diving into the incredibly mysterious, shockingly valuable, and unbelievably rare 2008 P 5-cent coin, a coin that has stunned collectors worldwide with reported valuations soaring as high as $8 million for the right specimen. And trust me, once you know the story behind it, you'll never look at a nickel the same way again. And listen carefully, because before this video ends, I'm going to tease you with something even more mind-blowing. The next coin in our sequence is wrapped in even deeper mystery, and its story will make your heart race, but I'm not revealing its value yet. First, Let's stay right here with the 2008 P, because this one alone is enough to keep you glued till the very last second. Now, the 2008 P nickel might seem like a typical modern Jefferson nickel, just Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, Monticello on the reverse. But beneath that simple surface lies a combination of history, minting anomalies, collector frenzy, and one-of-a-kind errors that transformed an everyday coin into a millionaire maker. To understand why, we need to rewind to 2008, a year marked by economic turbulence, recessions, and major shifts in the U.S. Mint's coin production priorities. Coin shortages popped up, metal prices were unstable, and the Mint was experimenting, quietly, subtly, with pressing techniques and die arrangements to accommodate new long-term plans. In the middle of all that chaos, something unusual happened at the Philadelphia Mint, something coin experts still can't fully explain. A small number of 2008 P nickels left the presses with anomalies undiscovered until sharp-eyed collectors stumbled upon them years later. These weren't ordinary errors. No, these were the kind of once-in-a-lifetime minting anomalies that shouldn't exist at all. Let's break them down, because each one contributes to why collectors are willing to drop millions for the perfect example of this coin. One of the most mysterious known errors on the 2008 P is the double die strike, a subtle but undeniable doubling visible on Jefferson's eye, nose line, and the curve of his jaw. While doubling is not unheard of, the version seen on these nickels is unusually crisp and unusually dramatic, suggesting a technical slip the Mint has never publicly acknowledged. Then you have the reverse die polishing anomaly, a shimmering, almost ghost-like blur around the pillars of Monticello, something that gives the coin an eerie, almost holographic effect when tilted under the light. And that's not even the rarest one. The crown jewel of 2008 P nickel errors is the rotated die strike, where the reverse design sits misaligned anywhere from 15 degrees to as much as 80 degrees. These rotations are so rare in modern mints that collectors go absolutely wild at the mere rumor of one hitting the market. Combine that with the right luster, flawless surfaces, and a high grade of MS68 or MS69, and you get the legendary multi-million-dollar auction estimates that made this coin famous. But wait, this story gets even better. Because some of these coins weren't discovered in collections, auctions, or estate sales. Some were found by everyday people. People just like you, sitting inside dusty coffee cans, resting in old coin jars, or trapped for years inside forgotten piggy banks. One man in Ohio found a 2008 P nickel with clear doubling on both sides while sorting through random pocket change accumulated over 7 years. Another collector in Texas found a rotated die specimen while rolling coins to take to the bank. Imagine the shock. Imagine thinking you had a normal nickel and then realizing it could be worth more than a supercar. That's why collectors chase this coin so aggressively. It isn't some museum artifact. It's not a limited edition or a gold commemorative coin minted for wealthy buyers. It's ordinary money that went into circulation like any other coin, meaning it could still be out there, right now, waiting in wallets, drawers, and coin jars across America and maybe even around the world. And while many modern nickels never achieve high values, the 2008 P stands as a rare exception because it merges modern minting precision with unexpected imperfections, imperfections that should have been caught instantly by quality control but somehow weren't. Some experts speculate that the Mint was understaffed in 2008 due to budget restrictions. Others speculate that a batch of dies used for the nickel may have been improperly prepared, polished, or mounted, leading to a series of inconsistencies that escaped routine checks. A few theorists even believe these errors might have occurred during late-night production hours when the shifts were carried out by fewer workers, making slip-ups more likely. Whatever the reason, the surviving error coins are now the most sought-after nickels of the decade. Auction houses have seen bidding wars so aggressive that entire rooms fall silent. One incident in 2020 involved two wealthy collectors raising the price by hundreds of thousands at a time, eventually pushing the final hammer price, and its premium, into the millions. What's even more interesting is the psychological impact this coin created among collectors. Overnight, it turned thousands of ordinary people into amateur treasure hunters. People began checking every nickel they came across, comparing each detail under magnifiers and LED lamps. Coin forums exploded with discussions, photographs, theories, and new finds. If you search deeply enough, you'll discover dozens of recorded stories of people who found notable examples while doing something as mundane as emptying laundry or digging coins from a car cup holder. And that brings us back to you, because someone is going to find the next great 2008 nickel. Someone always does. And right now, somewhere in the world, another one of these million-dollar nickels is waiting in silence, locked in the randomness of circulation, hoping that someone with just a bit more knowledge, someone like you, finally uncovers it. Now, before we wrap this coin story, let me remind you of something exciting. This is just the first coin in today's sequence, and you'll want to stay until the very end because the next coin story will take everything you've learned so far and crank the mystery up even higher. I won't reveal its value yet, because the suspense is half the thrill, but trust me, the 2008 nickel holds secrets that tie directly into everything strange, unexplained, and shockingly profitable about the 2008 P. In fact, as we transition to the next chapter, keep your mind open, because if you thought this 2008 nickel was unbelievable, the next coin is even more shocking, and you absolutely do not want to miss what comes next.